Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Hey everybody, the old captain here. This is going to be somewhat of a lengthier video request, and not one I necessarily agree with. So I know the mainstream media, because they're journalists, will take this video and cut it up and make it look like I'm pro-rape and I hate women. But don't worry, we got the truth video, the original video here. So hold judgment. I'm responding to this. I am reading it. I am not agreeing with it. Hi Aaron, I sent you $100 for a video. Can you please make a video about this nutcase woman, Rosie Batty? Links below. I have a serious problem with this woman and the entire issue of blaming men for domestic violence against women. Basically, her ex-husband murdered her son at a football game in front of a crowd of people. Rosie started a foundation in memory of her dead son, which is sad, of course. Now she's on a crusade to stop men from committing domestic violence against women. The amount of media attention this woman is getting is outrageous, and men in general are being portrayed as evil monsters. Politicians are even starting to talk about domestic violence on the news here on a daily basis because of this woman. They insinuate that men are solely responsible for all domestic violence, and people are lapping up this shit. Not only was this woman awarded Australian of the Year for choosing a mentally ill man to breed with, but now she wants all female domestic violence victims to have 10 extra days a year annual leave to deal with personal domestic violence issues at the expense of business. So I actually read that article, and it wasn't just women, it was anybody. There was no women only get to benefit from it. So I think it is asexual or non-sexual. Now I fully understand the evolutionary reasons for why women want to breed with strong, violent men to assure strong offspring, etc. But when are women going to understand that this is their fault and take responsibility? Can you please address the issue of women taking 100% responsibility for domestic violence in the cases where they stay with someone who was previously violent against them? Can you speak directly to Rosie Batty if you were telling it to her? I intend on forwarding the video to her. No, I won't because she lost her son. And, you know, I certainly will provide criticisms and observations, but she lost her son. And I'm not saying that's a get-out-of-jail-free card, but you can't really hurt anyone more than that. And I don't have anything personally against Rosie Batty either. So I will put my video together and give you my thoughts, but I will not speak to her personally. I keep hearing over and over these domestic violence victims saying how hard it is to leave after being punched in the head for the first time by their partner. Well, I say if he hits you once, it's his fault. If he hits you again, it's your fault for staying. Well, that's true. This slogan needs to be on billboards everywhere. After all, it is 100% the woman's choice on who they date, who to breed with, and who to marry. I'm sick and tired of my hard-earned tax dollars going towards funding for moronic women like Rosie Batty, who like to date bad boy MMA fighters, psychopaths, mentally ill men, or sadists, and our social programs literally reward them when they get attacked. Please tell Rosie Batty that what she should be doing is telling women to take responsibility for the men they choose, and not to date these type of men if they don't like getting punched in the head or the children murdered. If you completely disagree with my point of view, don't worry about doing a video. Just send me a refund. Also, can I stay anonymous? Of course, with that email you will be. Oh, thanks, and somebody. All right, here's the deal. I had to look it up. I tried printing it off, but the Herald Sun, which I'm imagining, they just want you to print off as much. Here we go. So I read a couple articles, looked into it, and yeah, pretty much this poor gal, she was married to this guy. This guy, I think, ended up getting child pornography charges against them. They've gone through a lot of bad shit, a lot of bad domestic violence. And then recently, this guy just showed up at a cricket game and killed his son. And now she is rising to prominence. And we have someone here similar. What was her name? Let me look this up so I can be Patty something. It parallels it. Her son went missing and has been missing for several years. Patty, Minnesota, missing son. Jacob Wetterling. Okay, Patty Wetterling. This is more a local thing. Her son has been missing for, 25 years now. And now her mission is kind of like the gal who lost her son in Iraq, where the family has even disowned her. because now she is abusing the death of her son, and in Patty Wetterling's case, the loss of her son. And you wonder, I'm not accusing, well, I'll accuse the gal of her son dying in Iraq. She went off the deep end. Patty, I think, is just trying to find her son. But you run the risk of, okay, this horrible, tragic thing has happened to you, the worst thing that could ever happen to you. Are you going to profit off of your son's demise for your own personal fame and satisfaction? And I think more often than not, Patty Wetterling hasn't done. I haven't read enough about Betty here to know. But if her son is dead, and that would kind of be the primary thing on my mind, is doing what can we do to stop this and prevent it from happening again. But there, of course, there is that. Who is the gal missing Iraq? Mom lost son in Iraq. This is what she wants to not become. Who was the gal? She became a protester. I apologize, I should have looked at Cindy Sheehan, okay? That's what you want to avoid becoming. She's in it for the limelight. She is it's disgusting how she's taken the death of her son and used it to glorify herself. But from what I've seen, and it's so recent and new, I don't think this has happened. I think Betty just misses her son, doesn't know what else to do. So that's one thing. I would just go easy on the gal, or Rosie Batty, not Betty. Rosie Batty. So go easy on her, okay? When did he die? Not a year ago. Yeah, a year ago. Let her do her thing. This is. I'd still give her a wide berth. Now, your other general criticism, though, is absolutely 100% correct. And I had to look to see if, this guy just snapped and there were no signs and he killed this poor kid Luke, or if there was writing on the wall and this could have been avoided. So it took me a while to find it, but I also found it, and here it is. This is from the Herald Sun in Australia. 11 years ago it starts. June 3rd, 2004, first known assault of Rosie by Anderson. Anderson is the ex-husband. June 4th, 2004, the day after. Anderson told not to go within 200 meters of Rosie's home. June 25th, 2004, Anderson seeks help from authorities but then withdraws. Early 2006, Rosie seeks legal advice from a family lawyer. April 18th, 2006, Anderson gets weekly contact with Luke despite Rosie's wishes. Okay, well, she was fighting for him there. June 10, Rosie calls police after being assaulted. He is not charged or arrested. August 6th, Rosie writes a will. May 26, 2012, Anderson attacks Rosie. She calls 000 police, issue a formal warning. Okay, see, there's also failure here on if this is true, because it's sad, you just can't trust anything anymore. But did she file charges? Did she press charges? Did she leave them? May 2012, Anderson told not to contact Rosie. January 2013, Anderson threatens to kill Rosie. January again, 2013, Anderson arrested by Hastings police. January 5th, 2013, magistrate releases Anderson, released on bail despite police opposition. Okay, so there is certainly failures here. Well, here's going back over a decade, there was already problems. And I am to the age and point that I don't care about the why. I only accept is what is, because that's what I have to effectively deal with in the real world. And for whatever reason, some women stick with abusers. I don't care why, because it's not my job, and Lord knows we've all tried to rationalize and reason, but they sometimes just don't get it. Women sometimes just stick with abusers. And you're right. Women should, the first sign of abuse, be it physical or mental, like genuine mental abuse, not that he told me I looked fat in this dress, but like genuine mental abuse, whatever that may qualify as, where the guy doesn't love you, you're gone. You're out of there. She stuck with him, what, if we did the math, 8 years later, 9 years later? And unfortunately, the consequences is a dead son. which is the worst consequence I could think could ever happen. More often than not, it's just a decade of life wasted, or you've wasted your youth with an abusive man. Heck, there was this one guy in Wyoming, beautiful wife, nice girl, 2 kids. He beat her, but she'd still stick with him. And you know what? I've given up caring. I really have. If you want to stop abuse, yes, fine, legislation, whatever. I think it should be abuse against all people, by all people, not just men against women. But ladies, if you really want to stop abuse, have the self-respect to walk away. We can't do it for you. We can't. We can't go into your house and beat up the bad guy. We can't, and the cops, it seems like maybe they tried, but again, working with the police, there's always the domestic violence call, and then the girl would never press charges. That was the one thing. Well, fuck! We can't help you. Society can't help you. So once abuse begins, you're out of there. And the second thing is, if this seems even iffy, like he's kind of a shady character, and there must have been signs, God almighty, don't breed with him. Don't breed. I know, and then it can also be that, they're physically strong, and that turns women on, and that's what worked in the caveman days. Yeah, we're not in the caveman days. We gotta use the frontal lobes more than the hind lobes. They're not even lobes, hindbrain. But I don't know, I'm just I've seen enough abuse, not firsthand, but through police reports, responses, the stories, and in person, not like the actual abuse, but where'd you get the shiner? Oh. And then you find, he abuses. You know what? There were plenty of good guys. There were just plenty of good guys. And I don't know what to do it. I mean, we could keep telling women, don't date abusive men. Don't date evil men. And for God's sake, don't breed with them. But that's all we can do. I don't think this video is going to change any of that. I really don't. There is a genetic, biological, Darwinistic, I don't know what it is, but I've been trying. It doesn't make any sense. And when it's something like, don't eat poison, and people keep eating poison, it's like, I got nothing. Don't step in front of that train. They step in front of the train. I can't. I'm not dealing with the sane person, I guess. And so I kind of moved on with my life, because if you can drag the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And if I can't get the horse to drink, I kind of, okay, my life is finite. I'm going to go do something with it. I'm not wasting it here. So ladies, yes, men abuse women and women abuse men. And it's horrible. It's not right. But you can do a lot of preventative maintenance, a lot of preventative, preemptive actions you can take to ensure you don't get abused in the first place, and ensure that you don't bring any poor kids under an abusive home. And and I'm terribly sorry. It's tragic. That's just not right. But it is true that if you chose wiser, or at the first sign of trouble you got out, like you left, man, you just freaking left. A lot of this wouldn't happen. Lord knows this guy sounds like such an asshole. He might hunt people down. You never know. But it's in the book. In the book. What did I write? It just doesn't apply to women. It applies to everybody. Where was it? You know what? I won't even. It's going to take too long to find it. One of the sub-segment chapters is don't hang out with bad people. And this was for guys. So that, look, hey, if you hang out with bad people, bad things tend to happen around bad people. And you could be a great person, but all of a sudden that bad person had crack fall out of his pocket in your car, and then you get pulled over for a light-out. Well, guess who's going to jail? Right? It's stuff like that. I even wrote, this is in Black Man's Guide Out of Poverty. I tell the story about this guy who was trying to steal my girlfriend from me. And I didn't really care to, I was like, no, she would never do that. I was young and dumb and naive. And I think they were fucking on the side, but it doesn't matter. Good. And it got to the point where he was so annoying, and he kept trying. Then inevitably, I'm like, I recorded him because he was married, and I got him to admit that he was trying to fuck my girlfriend. And I told him, well, you're gonna fuck off and die and get out of here. And by the way, I was just being a cocky ass. And then he got all pissed off, and instead of like realizing I was going to tell his wife. He's like, oh, I'm going to kick your ass. And then I stopped and I realized, holy shit. My girlfriend at the time, she was a bitch and a half. I didn't really like her. And this guy is like threatening to kick my ass. I'm like, wait a minute. Is this worth it? Like right now, his emotions are running so high. She's a manipulative psychopath. Why don't I just walk away from this? Because nothing good is going to happen. And I'm like, As a couple of years went on, I look back, I'm like, that guy probably would have killed me. He wasn't thinking. She wasn't thinking. And it's like, these are bad people. They should be out of your life. You kick bad people out of your life. One girl hit me one time. And I'm like, you're out of here. Gone. Get the fuck out. Another girl threw a temper tantrum. Gone. You're gone. There was no sticking around. And Lord knows what pain and I obviously saved this pain and agony, I guess. So ladies, drugs are bad, okay? Rape is bad, okay? Domestic violence is bad. Abusive husbands and boyfriends are bad. First sign, you leave. You dump his ass. And for God's sake, don't breed. I hope you follow that advice. I hope we spare future pain and agony and save people some domestic violence and heaven help us if we can save a couple future children's lives. But boy, that'd go a long way in you girls choosing better men. You want to lower domestic violence, it would go a long way if you told the bad guys to go away. Best of luck to all of you. Seriously, toodles.